Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And they do indeed say the internet is forever. Kinda is. I guess people try to race up, but it kinda is. It kinda is forever. So one of the great things about the interwebs, I would say, about social media, really, the promise of social media that I think we've all found very, very exciting. I think to some extent is actually being realised here on YouTube and hopefully other platforms in the future. Is that you get pricks like me who can make their own broadcasting in their basement for free, which is essentially what I do, right? And I'm obsessed about lots of things. I'm obsessed about Doctor Who. I've been obsessed about Doctor Who all my life. I've always loved Doctor Who, and I probably you watching have a similar experience. So now Doctor Who Flux and Doctor Who in general has not been very good for the last few years. If you're a fan of it, God bless you. I love you. Well, I might love. I try and love all people, right? God bless you. I didn't like it. Don't be mad at me that I didn't like it, and don't be mad at me that I point out its failings. And certainly don't be mad at me that it's critical and a commercial failure. People like to feel vindicated about their beliefs. Me too, right? And it just happens to be the facts are somewhat vindicating me. And people like to feel even more vindicated when they've been silenced for years by being told they were bigots when they really weren't at all, right? They really weren't. So I'm sorry it upsets you. I know I got a couple of more than a couple of hate watchers, which is great. Listen, baby. The more dislikes I get, the happier I am. That's why I'm kind of sad that they taken away the dislike button or the number for the dislike button. Whenever I had a large dislikes, I'm like, oh, this video is going to do well. It's 100% accurate. That was always the case. But as I said, in the internet's forever. As Doctor Who Flux was running, was it What Culture? Which is a fascinating theme of Doctor Who content I found. What Culture, from the second episode on, was run. All the big questions they had for Doctor Who Flux, and they just expected these questions at some point to be answered. No, not at all, right? Chris Chibnall, not very good at writing stories, which, you would have thought would be kind of his job. Honestly, if you want to do anything creative, you need to spend a long time under pressure doing that creative thing, right? I write and draw comic. The way to write and draw comics is to write and draw comics. The more pages you knock out, the more you can do. If you want to start a YouTube channel, which I wholeheartedly recommend everybody doing, right? If you want to start a YouTube channel, because your opinion is important, right? This is the reason a lot of people don't start their channels. They feel that their opinion isn't important. No, your opinion is important. Your opinion is unique. Your opinion is one that probably the only person who can come to that insight, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is you have to get used to doing it. You have to get used to talking to a camera like you talk, like you talk in the shower, right? I recommend you all start YouTube channels. The more voices we have, the better, right? But writing stories, as I said, writing stories, not Chris Chibnall's strong suit, apparently. He worked out that he needed a few big setups or dramatic payoffs, but not really how to get there. Star Trek Discovery, God help me, it just started again this week. I got to start watching. I watch it in 3 segments, 15-minute segments, because it's so awful. Right, it's like that Monty Python thing when somebody writes the funniest joke ever and he's like, they fall over. So then they have to be they translate it into German for war use, but they had to have all different people translating words individually. And one person saw 2 words and they were in hospital for 6 months. Everybody reads this joke. He must have seen the sketch. It's freaking. Go and look for it on YouTube. I have no idea how I got onto that. Anyway, so Christian has trouble writing stories. As I said, yes, that's where I still. Christian has trouble writing stories. Darcy Discovery. That's how I got onto it, right? Because they just love the moment, but they don't like doing the work to get there, including building up character, which is something that Chris Chibnall totally took on for Doctor Who Flux. By the way, if you like stories and with beginning, middle, and end and characters, and I keep plugging this because I really genuinely like it, okay? I genuinely like it. Go check out Dr. Alex's season 13 and season 12. I covered his name, I'm terribly sorry. Alex Lees. If you like stories with characters, with beginning, middles, and ends, and payoffs and setups, that might be for you, right? That might be you. Doctor Who Flux, not so much. So anyway, after every episode, from the second episode, What Culture were pointing out all the big, exciting questions that they assumed would be answered. No! So now we're going to read them. Internet's forever, baby. Now we're going to read them. We may take the piss. that may happen. You know, oftentimes I say experiences may vary. No, they're not on this one. We're going to take the piss. Right, before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are fan-dammy, freaking dozy. Thank you very much. I am ridiculously, and I would describe it, the only real word I can really describe it as is pathetically. I am pathetically grateful for all your support, no matter just watching the video. Thank you very much. Genuinely, thank you very much. Even if you just watched this far. Then you're like, I'm going. But yeah, thank you very much. If you could consider subscribing, that really, really, really helps me. You can consider sharing. That really, look, I'm basically shadow banned by YouTube. If you're on Rumble, maybe I get 3 views on Rumble. I feel good about myself. Hit the Rumble button. That's I guess that'll start pushing me up on there. Promotion rankings or whatever. I don't know. So like, share, subscribe, hit the Rumble button, comment. That thing always really helps me. And if you want to be super nice, sign up to my Substack, right? My Substack is a email newsletter. I put a bunch of comic stuff out on the. I'm putting vintage comics out as well as my comics. Like things that are out of print, so I'm not like massively breaking copyright. But yeah, putting a bunch of comics out. The last one was the Blake 7 comic. I really liked it as well. But probably, and then on Fridays, I have this strip running called Red Ghost, which is pretty darn good. If I say so myself, art by Savannah Cardoselli. And on Sundays, which is when this video is going out, Ice Warriors. The Ice Warriors is ongoing strips, 1-page strips. And they're being coloured for the first time. They look gorgeous. Again, I feel somewhat embarrassed saying they look gorgeous because I'm doing the colouring. But, you know, I've been the sort of guy all my life when I do something I'm happy with, I go, oh, that's pretty darn good, Tzvi. You did a good job there. Well done. And again, that's something I would recommend you all doing for yourself. A lot of the time, just be nice to yourself, okay? Being nice to yourself is a good thing. But listen, don't be too nice because then you end up writing Doctor Who Flux. You know, don't be too easy on yourself. So fine, like, share, subscribe, comment, Rumble, Substack. I think there's everything. I think if you do everything, oh no, there's not. I got a paid Substack. If you want to pay, join that, which I got to put content out. Oh my God, didn't put content out all last week. Here's the thing. I just want another 12 hours out the day, right? That's all I want. Another 12 hours in every day. If I can, and I don't want to clone myself because then, you know, which one's going to be prime? No, I want a time portal that gives me another 12 hours in a day. If anybody can work that out, get in contact. That'll be lovely. Fine. Let's read the article, right? And we're going to do a series of these videos, I think, because they got a lot of these articles. They got a lot of them. There's a lot of it about, baby. Doctor Who Flux, 10 huge huge questions after War of the Sontaras. Now, War of the Sontaras was the episode that made us think, oh my God, this kind of looks like Doctor. I mean, it's not, but it did. This is the episode that this and Village of the Angels are the 2 episodes that looked most like Doctor Who, right? Especially to the normie that wasn't really watching. After all the talking points from episode 2 of Doctor Who Flux, oh boy, internet's forever, baby. Just where is Chris Chibnall going with this? Nowhere. No, and I'll be fair. Listen, if it's a plot thread that I think it was set up for, man, it's hot in here now. It's freezing outside. There it is. It's been raining for the last few days, so I had the heat on here, but man, it got turned up too high. Let's turn it down to like 25. Let's see what happens. These numbers are just magic. I don't really understand what they mean. 25 what? Centigrade? Okay. I bet it's not 25 degrees centigrade in there. Fine. War of the Sontaras was a joy to watch. Well, let's not get excited, okay? No, it wasn't. It wasn't awful to watch. You know, it was, Listen, I've never had this done, and yeah, quite frankly, if I never have it done, I'm very, very happy. The old man of a certain age rectal exam, never been through it myself. Intend to never go through it as well. But I imagine if I did, right? If I did, when they stop, I'll be like, oh, there's so much better than the exam bit itself. So much better. I was right. Yeah, my eyes stopped watering, obviously. But it's the same thing with War of the Sontarans. It wasn't Orphan 55, but it wasn't good, right? It wasn't good. Okay, best way I can do to explain it, if you've ever seen Reservoir Dogs, I should recommend it. This isn't really a spoiler because it happens in the first few minutes. Tim Roth's character in it has been shot in the stomach through most of the movie, and they actually did a calculation on the size of the pool of blood that would be emanating around him as the time went on, right? They got that exactly right. So, at one point early on in the movie, he says to Harvey Keitel, who's like sort of his friend, sort of his superior, bank robber, he says, how bad is it? And Harvey Keitel says, it's not good. It's not good. That's War of the Sontarans. It's not good. Okay, it's not good. You've been shot in the gut. You got to get medical attention, or you're going to die. It's not good. It's not good. Best single episode we had in years. Also true, right? Also true. Crazy, but true. Well, it wasn't exactly on par with Battle of the Bastards. No, really? What, the last good episode of Game of Thrones? Fine. The sheer scale of the Sontaran test run against the British Crimean soldiers was unusually ambitious for Doctor Who. Yeah, listen, a lot of War of the Sontarans really, really work. When they arrived, for example, and they said, well, where's the enemy? And the pre-title sequence, and then you saw the Sontarans were the enemy. That was good. That was very good, right? I was kind of impressed, but setup is one thing. But making that setup and story and conclusion and payoff all make sense. That's your job as a writer, right? If you can do that, you've done a good job. Fine. There was a grim number of casualties despite the Sontarans' poor aim. Look, Chris Chibnall has no real understanding of the sanctity of life, right? And I find it fascinating that Rusty Davies very clearly does, right? Rusty Davies, I just have a lot of respect for. And I make no bones about it. If he screws up with this new era, if he goes in the same direction, that's what happens, right? What can you say? But I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping it works out pretty well, right? Pretty well. But I got to say, because I have a very different worldview from Rusty Davies, right? I'm a Bible-thumping creationist, right? I believe in the Old Testament. He's very much an atheist, but I think our core values, right? Our core values, which are based on, I think, his very, very intelligent and meticulous view of life. Like, you can really recreate life. Our core values seem very similar, right? And I love that. I love somebody who have massive differences with, right, in terms of worldview. And I do. I have massive differences that we agree on, like, basic fundamental truths. And I think you've got to be an honest person to do that, and which I think he is, right? I think he's. Even when he was doing stuff like Years and Years, which was okay, his existential angst over Donald Trump and Brexit. Even when he was doing that, it's still good work, right? I think he was being honest and real, right? I think all the way through, I think he was being honest and real, right? Fine. But yeah, so Rusty Davies, let's say, one, the truth he understands is the sanctity of human life. No, people didn't die randomly in Doctor Who under his. They died, right? But not scattergun, and not for no reason, right? Showing us a devastating effect of Potato Head's bloodthirsty warmongering. As we flip between the battlefield, the dramatic CGI images of Sontaran timeships docked in the present day in Liverpool, that really didn't make any sense at all. And the mysterious subplot set inside a futuristic alien temple, which didn't make even less sense. The past, present, and future are all vying for attention in this thrilling story. It would have been thrilling. Again, a really important part of this equation is it making sense, right? Not having limitless plot holes. They really could have called this story "Invasion of the Plot Holes," "Terror of the Plot Holes." I think that's the name of this video. I think that's going on the thumb. Chris Chibnall's Terror of the Plot Holes, a guide to the inconsistencies in Doctor Who Flux. a lengthy series. First part of a lengthy series. Fine. As far as Doctor Who episodes go, this one is truly epic, and thankfully Christian has suitably upped the game with a witty, punchy script. Again, I think it was an impersonation of a witty, punchy script instead of an actual witty, because it didn't make sense, right? A lot of it didn't make sense. Punchy script, like so, which J.R.R. Martin would never be able to write. Oh, thank God! I thought he said would write. Yeah, because he's cursed with talent, and I don't know. Well, forgive Chibbers for the darring of Sontar Hall and the stereotypical joke about someone stealing Dan's house. Don't even remember that. I don't even remember that. Not good, even if it did come from the lips of a Scouser. Oh yeah, they shrank down his house, didn't they? Who cares? All hung together, much better than Halloween Apocalypse. So again, everything in Doctor Who looks better now after Christian. Everything, right? I mean, stories, seasons which I was really down on. Season 24, for example. I bought the Blu-ray of those, and I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed it because I saw what they were doing with it. I appreciated the honesty of it, right? I really, really liked what and I don't think it worked, right? But I got rid of my baggage as a kid of watching it, saying, but every bad bit of Doctor Who, it's so much better now. So yeah, but it hung together better than Halloween Apocalypse. But plenty of questions were raised along the way, leaving us largely in the dark about the flux. So my guess is they expect these questions to be answered by the end of the season. No, and I'm going to say if I think they're going to be answered at all, right? I think this next episode is going to be a standalone. We may have Yaz and the Doctor mooning at each other. Well, not literally mooning. I mean, looking at each other longfully. But I think they're going to veer away from that, and they're going to end with a cliffhanger with the Master. I have no spoilers. This is just my guesswork, okay? Cliffhanger with the Master, and then the final one's going to be just plot heavy, boring exposition, and destroy Doctor Who. Right? I really think that's going to be the end of this run of Doctor Who. For me, it ended with Capaldi's run. Fine. With the recent trend towards self-contained episodes, it's good to have a return to weekly cliffhangers. And the Halloween Apocalypse ended in a particularly dramatic one. Well, yes and no, right? Yes and no. It did, apart from Jodie Whittaker's performance, right? She's looking at the time and saying, I always wondered what it would look like. What is it? I know you wonder, it's like audience participation, like Rocky Horror. You go, what, Jodie? What? The end of the universe. No, what it'll feel like, not look like, because it's written so. I'd always wonder what it'll feel like. No one's ever wondered that, okay? No one's ever wondered what the end of the universe is going to feel like. I mean, you want to get close. I would watch that movie Don't Look Up, which I really liked. Even though I'm not like a big into climate. Well, what do you word? I wouldn't call myself a climate alarmist, right? Not that I know anything about science, but what the end of all life on Earth would have looked like. That seemed pretty realistic to me. That seemed like something I could totally believe in. But nobody's ever asked what the end of the universe is going to feel like. I always want to feel like. With a flux about to enter the open TARDIS, open doors to the TARDIS. I forgot about that. Right? Yes, it's not even like the doors were closed. The Doctor contemplates the end of the universe. I always wonder what it was. But really, no, because we found out later, a flux has gone through a bunch of planets and just broken things up. I don't know, some planets got quite easy from the flux, which is pure antimatter that should just explode everything on contact, shouldn't it? I don't know. The resolution is not so satisfying. Get used to it, baby. You're going to see that another 5 times, okay? Don't think that's the only time. With our heroes waking up at 1850s, in the 1850s, less disorientated than they ought to have been. They have been ejected from the nearby TARDIS, and we later learn no longer has doors. Right? Did it? Oh right, they couldn't. Yeah. Once again, Dan seems to be taking the whole thing, the whole crazy experience in his stride. Okay. The Doctor reasons that the Lupari shield of the interlocked ships must have successfully cocooned the Earth, but it's not clear how the TARDIS passed through it, or what happened to the flux when it did. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Why? They wanted a cliffhanger. They didn't want it to make sense. See, this is a setup. It doesn't lead to a story, and there's no conclusion. Because Chris Chibnall is not a good writer, right? Man, I'm 20 minutes in. I'm only on the first one. I was worried this video is going to underrun. It's good. No, not underrunning. And what happens to the flux when it did? I never explained, mate, is it? How convenient for the TARDIS to land in the one moment in Earth's history that the Sontarans had chosen to test their battle-free temporal war efforts on. Okay, so listen, I'm going to retcon. I'm going to insert something that will make it make sense, but this was not on screen, and you can put whatever in. And the fact I have to do this is a failure for Chris Chibnall. You could say that the temporal incursion being done by the Sontarans created some kind of time corridor, which resulted in the TARDIS being taken to their test site. You could have said that if you thought it through and cared about plot and story, but you didn't. I just did. You're welcome. More importantly, have they brought apart the flux with them? It was in the TARDIS, that's true. Is that why the TARDIS has hidden its doors to keep the Doctor and the flux apart? I can't remember how they got back in. Or is the flux somehow already inside the Doctor and the TARDIS protecting itself? Protecting us and the TARDIS protecting itself? I don't know. I mean, like, reasonable questions, I guess. Okay. Why does the Doctor see a spooky house? Now, was this explained? Was this explained? I can't remember. We have a feeling this is something to do with her hidden past, I think. Oh no, is this the memories are hidden in the spooky? Oh, let's see. That I can't remember. Shells tells me the payoff wasn't really that big a deal. Before the Doctor wakes up and realizes where she is, she sees a black and white version of what looks like a derelict mansion, complete with various towers. Since it doesn't relate to the rest of the episode, it will no doubt have great significance further down the line. But what? I'll go look this up now because it's annoying me. What was the house in Doctor Who Flux? You know, listen, I can tell you finite plot details from, you can see when I make this video. I can tell you like finite plot details from like stories from 30 or 40, 50 years ago. Can't remember this. Doctor Flux, the Doctor experiences a strange vision depicting a floating house, but the house's true identity appears to be the TARDIS. Doctor Who Flux has shown the Doctor haunted by visions of a strange floating... Really? Is it secretly a TARDIS? Really? Flux ending explained, okay? Listen, spoiler alert. Let's have a look, see what Den and Geek has to say. If it's going to open up for me. If we find the house. I mean, like, I'm going back to try and find this stuff. What was the division's plan? What was Azure the plan? I'm trying to read more, but it's not letting me. Oh no, this. Here, can I search for house? Edit, find house. Let's see if we find. Is that? No. Okay, it doesn't say. It doesn't. Okay, not that explained then. I really can't remember. So I guess it was. Do you think it was never answered? I guess this is one of the things. Listen, if it was answered, let me know in the comments. Right? I don't think we ever got a definitive answer of what this was. But again, like didn't really care. It seemed to me like it's some kind of rip-off of Lungbarrow, the novel, which is excellent, absolutely excellent. You know what? I might put that. I have all those new adventures as PDFs. I might start putting that in my Substack. Lungbarrow, fantastic book. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm amazed Big Finish didn't do an adaptation of that one. Before the Doctor wakes up and realizes where she is, a black and white house. It will no doubt be a great significance further down the line. Well, if it has been, I can't remember, and I don't think it has been. The floating chamber is somewhat reminiscent of the ruined citadel on Gallifrey, as first shown to the Doctor by the Master. It could therefore be a part of another story constructed inside the Matrix, like the life of Brandon. Oh God, don't remind me of Brandon. Oh, Brandon. Oh, boy, that was awful. That would make the house fictionalized version of a real place. If, on the other hand, it isn't make believe, and the house clue, could the house be a clue to the Doctor's secret origins before Gallifrey? That's kind of what I thought it was. Right, whatever the place the Doctor is drawn towards it, as if the building is calling to her. I remember Swarm destroyed it at one point, and I think explained it. Is Swarm responsible for the hallucination? I don't know. He has already communicated with the Doctor through a series of telepathically induced visions, but this time there's no accompanying commentary, and it would be odd for him not to be drawing himself and their rivalry. It would be odd for him not drawing attention to himself and their rivalry. We might have to wait until after Doctor Who Flux for this one to be revisited, with the Doctor fearing she is about to end the universe. This could be tied up with a regeneration story. I'm sure it is. The premonition about our final moments. Could that be Rickety Houseby, the 13th Doctor, and Translot? No! Don't be silly. I do not think that is the case. Not at all. Okay, next. Number 8. How true to life was Mary Seacole? From what I heard, not very true to life at all, right? Apparently she was a woman who, was making money. That's all. It wasn't like a Frost Nightingale thing. She had, like, she would have people pay them to stay at her inn. I don't know. Let's see what they have to say. For the episode to work effectively, the historical figure of Mary Seacole had to be as true to life as possible. She was a little bit more altruistic in this than in real life, from what I understand. We have no doubt left that Mary represents the one in our universe, just like Rosa Parks in series 11. So, here's really the question about which I can't answer about Mary Seacole. Was her role in history not really looked at because she was black, and it was incongruous? Was it that, or was it that she didn't have such an important role and she wasn't such an altruistic person, but her actions have been subject to hyperbole, shall we say, to make her seem like a better person, because we have this current push for black heroes everywhere in history and everywhere, which I'm not really opposed to, but I just don't know what the truth is, right? That's basically my point. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. People in comments and chat before have told me she was not as depicted. The big Doctor who did a story with her with the 7th Doctor on Big Finish called The Angel of Scarlatti, I think. Which is pretty darn good, as I recall. It did. I don't remember the details of that, but it didn't seem massively different from this, right? It seemed like in terms of Mary Seacole's depiction, maybe the same thing. I don't know. The Doctor also wants to rid the work of the opportunistic, time-meddling Sontarans in order to restore history as we know it. Seacole is a significant figure in the Crimea War, and regardless of the overall efficiency of her methods, there can be no doubt she saved lives and provided respite for those in need. That's true. I mean, she made them pay for it, but that's true. As the Doctor tells Dan, Mary is supposed to be there doing exactly the same thing, only with the Russians and not the Sontarans as the enemy. While nearly 100 years after her death, the Jewish treatment of the Seagull were forgotten. Now she's being remembered as an important social entrepreneur in the field of medicine. Question again, is she this altruistic Florence Nightingale figure, and was Florence Nightingale altruistic Florence Nightingale figure, or was she opportunist making money, or somewhere in between? Probably somewhere in between, right? Again, do not know anything about her. Despite the efforts of certain contemporary British politicians and the ongoing debate of the relative achievements of Seagull and Nightingale, she is still taught as part of the UK school curriculum. I'm just assuming it's being taught accurately, but who knows? A statue of Seagull at St Thomas's Hospital in London calls her a pioneer, the same word used by the doctor. The British Hotel was based on a true story where she did indeed build a facility from salvage, having been denied employment, and she took it upon herself to treat the sick and widow. Well, listen. If that's the case, and she like did all this herself because she couldn't get the opportunity to want more power, that's a story, rather than that story of personal responsibility, right? That's a great story. But again, I don't trust anything anymore. Despite criticism by many patrons, she tended to injured Russians as well as Allied troops. Yeah, I think basically anybody who could pay. Whoa, again, that's the idea I got. Basically anybody who could pay. That's where we're going. Number 7. What's so special about Liverpool? Well, don't ask Dan. You'll be there for all week. What is so special about Liverpool? Yeah, why are they conveniently using that as their time-ship hub, right? Like, what's going on? No, that was a question. Again, I don't think it was a question anybody asked or anybody really cared about, right? I don't think that's, yeah. For its rich cultural heritage, and despite being the birthplace of Tom Baker and Paul McGann, that's a pretty good pedigree right there. Boy, but Tom Baker and McGann were a really good combination on Light at the End, the 50th anniversary Big Finish one. It's a shame, they did a David Tennant, Tom Baker one, doing David Tennant, fifth Peter Davison one, and Peter Tennant, Colin Baker story. I would like to see Paul McGann and Tom Baker. That's a really good combination. That'd be great. Apart from the one flying visit by the first Doctor on Christmas Day in 1965, Liverpool has only ever been referenced incidentally in a handful of Doctor Who scripts. With Doctor Who Flux, Liverpool joins the likes of London, Cardiff, and Sheffield in being this being a central story location. Okay, Cardiff because they filmed it in Cardiff, in Sheffield because I don't know, they wanted to be different. And it's fine getting into a different part of the country, as Baker and McGann would no doubt agree. Perhaps reflecting the development, this development next year, Doctor Who Worlds of Wonder, an interactive exhibition that will be opening in the National Museum. One of Chibnall's greatest contributions to the series has been to move away from the London-centric approach that still existed despite being produced in Cardiff. Well, the reason it had a London-centric approach is because it wanted to appear very, very, very English, like very, very, very British and internationally. And that means London Eye, big red buses, London locations. And I think that was great. I love them getting into different locations, but, forgetting that international, pedigree of London. You do it at your peril. And it's something that you use to bring viewers in. I'm all for stories being in different locations, as long as they're stories, right? That's really, which is, we don't really get so many of those. It will no doubt please BBC executives who seek to bring greater representation for other regions of the UK. Well, yes and no. No, I mean, listen, the criticism against the BBC, which is accurate, is that that they are they have a monoculture there, which is represented by basically like a London bubble, right? A London a London bubble of people who live on Twitter, read The Guardian, the intelligentsia, the overeducated, overeducated morons is how I like to describe them, which make up the BBC. So they find overeducated morons all around the country, but they only have the overeducated morons, people who agree with them. They don't have any diversity of thought. No, heaven forfend. That would be cray-cray. What was the reason for this sudden interest in Merseyside by the alien invaders? It looks like it's tied to the 19th century tunnel system. That was never explained either, at all. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Never explained. Created by Joseph Williamson. That's just where flux openings, portals happened. The tunnel stretch for miles and are still being excavated today by archaeologists keen to discover their original purpose. Williamson has appeared in both episodes of Doctor Who Flux so far. He seems to be wandering into the temple of Atropos directly from the tunnels. Is there a time portal connecting Earth to the planet Time? Yes, there is. That's one thing that was paid off. But this question wasn't not even answered because nobody cared. Was there not even a bloody question, right? Not even a question. What did the Doctor do to knock out the soldier? No memory of this whatsoever. And again, no memory of what. I mean, I know, hit them. Maybe what soldier? At one point in the episode, Doctor very politely, it has to be said, takes down a soldier with one finger, making the poor man's eyes look almost alien-like before he collapses into sleep. I just watched Survival, 2 or 3 days ago. Fantastic. Oh my God, so good, right? You forget how good it is. And boy, am I on board. They should just take that, edit it into a movie-length one, put new effects on it, put new current music in, make new titles. Those titles don't fit at all. And you got a contemporary drama that will go down well today. It will get decent viewers, especially with Hell Pace in it, the 80s nostalgia. I think it will do very, very, very well. But yeah, in nostalgia, they have a line. What was that line in Survival? Peterson, the military guy who's like running a kids group, a teen group, says one finger can be a deadly weapon, and then later in the episode, Doctor puts him down and goes with one finger, saying one finger can be did some doctory stuff, okay. That particular effect seems new, but it's not the first time the Doctor has poleaxed somebody so easily. Third Doctor, played by John Pertwee, did something of a master of Venusian Aikido. Hey! There was lots of that. I always like a bit of hey! And one of the moves involved touching a pressure point, and it wasn't that to paralyze his assailant. Christian will pull that particular move back to the Doctor's repertoire in the Ghost Monument. I was too hard asleep, who could remember? But maybe in the Ghost Monument, where the Doctor only needed to use one finger, she calls herself a Grandmaster Pacifist changed by Venusian nuns. Everything he does is awful, isn't it? What might be significant is another comparison between the Doctor and the mysterious Azoran swarm, who remained mysterious. Let me tell you, didn't find out anything about them. Whilst the Doctor hand is not as brutally destructive as theirs, it's tempting to wonder whether you are looking at you're turning tilting windmills into giants, mate. That's not there. That is not there. It's tempting to wonder the relationship between the apparently supernatural powers on show. Could the Doctor's training be a cover story masking her true origins or powers? Who cares? And I can't believe they haven't mentioned survival, right? It's unbelievable. I mean, it is believable. They don't know what they're talking about. But other than that, in Arachnids in the UK, the Doctor tells Yaz she had sisters once, and I used to be a sister in an aqua hospital. It's just more propagandizing bullcrap. That's all it is, okay? It was never a bloody sister of anyone. Just stop. Training camp for the Quistin Calcium Assassins. It could be nothing, a throwaway reference to an untold adventure, but you never know. Chibnall is redefining Doctor Who's roots, and at this stage, we cannot be sure of anything. I can be sure this isn't Doctor Who. Right? I'm very, very sure this is not Doctor Who, right? I'm very sure of this. Why does Finder feel like he needs redemption? I think maybe he's trying to push some character into this. I mean, why do they feel like it? Because he was put in Station Rose because he disobeyed the Grand Serpent. Okay, maybe this is answered then. Not everything. Not everything was an answer. This is actually set up and answered. Fine. Whittaker needs to be the most intriguing new characters. Still is the most intriguing. Him and Bell don't know anything about them. Last week we wondered why he had been on an observational platform duties when we know he is a trained, highly skilled fighter pilot. That gets answered. Now he has been mysteriously transported to the planet Time, where he can, in the hope that he can repair the Mori. But why him? I don't remember how he got there. I can't remember how he got there. When Azura and Storms turn up, they know about his past and clearly touch a nerve when they suggest that he's looking for redemption. Okay, for that, all that's answered. What could he have possibly done? Was he acting with the best intentions, perhaps, in defiance of orders? Yes, very, very obviously. Yes, that's exactly what happened. If it looks like Azura and Storm are traveling through time to meet Vinda and the Doctor and her friends are out of order, a future installment of the story should tell us how they know about Yaz's what would Doctor do reminder ahead. No, never, ever, ever. I guess they kind of just look into people's time streams and know who they are and be able to read them. And perhaps also they found out about Vinda's past. Vinda's reaction to Yaz is a curious one. He immediately assumes she is his superior officer. Well, yeah, listen, it's Yaz. You don't get stunning and brave like that. You know, obviously he's the superior officer. Perhaps implying that in his culture, women lead military. Listen, if it's his culture, 2022 Earth culture, yes. 2022 Earth culture as depicted in media, as depicted in entertainment media, yes. Right? Yes. Only women lead everything because they're stunning and brave, the bestest ever. Doctor looking. It's worth reminding us that the Doctor is looking for the division, and the first division operative we saw was a female Time Lord Gat. The Ruth Doctor was also a member of the division. Are they former bosses of that Vinda defied? No, nothing to do with anything. No, don't get excited, right? Do not get excited. Where are we up to? Number 4. Have the Sontarans always been so comically bad? Yes. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. They've always been so comically bad. That is correct. The Sontarans are a curious enemy, bred for war with no other purpose. They appear to be remarkably incompetent. They're a joke. It's a joke thing. They take their helmet off and their head is the same shape as their helmet. It's a joke. That's all it is. I mean, they're fun. I mean, I like Dan Stark's take on Sontarans. I honestly, still my favorite Sontaran story is Shakedown, the fan-made thing, sort of, the independent production from the 90s. I think that was just a great presentation of Sontarans, right? You got an idea of their culture, and they've totally been filled out a lot since the end of the original run, right? They've been filled out quite a lot. The removal of the helmet was one of the series' scariest cliffhangers, but over the years they have increasingly become figures of ridicule. That's not to say creator Bob Holmes didn't build their characterizing with the greatest Treybuck satire. Here aimed against the military mindset. The strategic weaknesses have always been a feature. Well, same with every villain. You got to have a way to gold with Cybermen and pretty much everything else. Gold rubber. you name it. I always liked in the 30 Years in the TARDIS documentary by Kevin Davis when they had Toya Wilcox in. I'm not sure if she was one of the original interviewees, but she said how sexy she found the Cybermen because they wore all that leather and rubber. All that rubber. I'm like, okay, Toya, okay. We've forgotten that they are essentially a race of bloodthirsty, merciless warriors. The inability of the Sontarans to hit closer targets in the War of the Sontarans is one of the few weak points in the script. It's not credible to imagine that a warrior race will be quite so bad at their job, and quite how Dan was able to infiltrate the base is as poorly realized. Poorly AI video game is beyond us. Yeah, listen, I can't help but agree. So I turn the heat down before. Now I'm cold. Turn it back up again. Let's go for 27. Okay, we went from 29 to 25. Let's try 27. Yeah, listen, it's called one of the many plot holes. Okay, that's what this. And look, this is going to have to be a series. They got one of these on. They got 5 more of these articles. I like how far am I? This is what 35 minutes in, around there. This is a long trudge. Okay, and we're going to be looking at a lot of these. Yeah, I like this idea. They get a probic vent. They need to be periodically recharged. The ease of which can be manipulated through talking their language, right? But since Strax became indebted to the Doctor and joined the Paternoster gang, we've forgotten how essentially a race of blood. Did I just read that? I think I've read that twice. The inability to hit close to the target. Okay, fine, right. They also redefine what the whole probic vent was for as well. It's not okay. Fine. I've read that whole paragraph before. I'm going in circles. It's hard to wish away any inherent humor of the race, but when they get the best lines ever, why the Crimea War? Asks the Doctor, to which the commander admits, so much novelty, and also I wanted to ride a horse. Okay, listen, I'm not going to say that's like the worst line ever. Not so terrible. Number 3, who are the Mori? Never ever discussed or revealed. No. I don't think we're going to find out who they are in the final episode. This is something I think they're going to touch back to. But yeah, no, never, ever discussed, right, who they are. Although this week's episode was a little less confusing than the Halloween's Apocalypse. Yeah, hold your breath for next week. I think it was next week was Once Upon a Time, I think. We were still introduced to yet another alien race at this point in the relationship of the Flux. In relation to the Flux is just as oblique as the Swarms, which we never find out about either, right? Confusing the Halloween Apocalypse, we were still. I'm rereading lines again. My God, the almost cute floating lanterns that sound like one of Peter Dutton's Blake Seven creations have no time to go into detail about the true nature of time, the Temple of Atropos, and the damaged Mori, right? Which the Doctor knows everything about. All right? Okay, I don't know. What we do learn is that time was once out of control, was an out of control force that an unknown person or race needed to keep in check. Whoever this was, they assigned the Mori to watch over time on their behalf. Intriguing. That's all the that's it. That's all the details you got. Intriguingly, the Mori are quantum locked, which is an expression used by the Doctor to describe the ability of weeping angels to turn themselves into stone when they are looked upon, or they can't not turn themselves away from stone, right? Okay, Chibnall just ripped off a line from Moffat. None of this is confusing, right? None of this is like, how did that happen? No, he just ripped off a line. That's it. That's all that happened. He just ripped off a line. It seems that highly like the Mori are either the original race that will become the Weeping Angels, no, or slaves of the angels, no. I get who knows. The temple defenses are using them, but built using the Master's quantum technology. Okay, the intrigue. I mean, really, so far, how many we're in? Like we're 8 in, and only one of these things gets answered. And even in one of those ones, they had more questions that weren't answered. The intrigue doesn't stop there. Could the Weeping Angel and the Mori both be connected to the Doctor's home planet? No, we don't know. If time is a real place, sadly it is. Could this be the Doctor's birthplace? No. The answer will almost certainly lie in whoever was assigned to whoever assigned the Mori. Yeah, well, we don't know. We don't know because they never looked at it. They never thought about it because it didn't matter. Really, that's basically the bottom line. It just didn't matter. What's wrong with the TARDIS? No, again, totally not answered, right? They had all the doors appearing everywhere. It got falling apart, and then they just reset it in even the Daleks, and now they're going to walk off and go, hey, everything's fine again. That was quite a good special effects as the TARDIS was collapsing in of itself, ruined by Jodie Whittaker. I mean, like inability to act. It's much like a Chris Chibnall's inability to be able to write, and an inability to act is a bit of a drawback when you are an actress, right? It's like really. I mean, listen. If I was to suddenly lose a lot of weight and become Christian, it will be hard to call myself a fat rabbi, right? It will be hard to do that, really. Same here. It's like, you got to be able to do the thing to call yourself that thing. Something is wrong with with time itself, and it looks like it's causing havoc in the TARDIS. Never explained. Swarm and Azor make out they're the only ones who know exactly what's going on. Well, maybe they are, because the audience didn't. And Swarm said the TARDIS isn't working probably because of the damage to the two Morai in the Temple of Atropos. How do they get that? Well, what? So apparently the Doctor should be grateful that he has found the solution, even if it means both Vinda and Yaz must join the Morai and die. That'd be nice. Well, not for them, but God, it would be nice. It just wouldn't be good. But still. We'll come to why Swarm is so keen to get the TARDIS fixed, but with the never explained. But with the TARDIS being a sentient being uniquely connected to the Doctor, it's worth asking whether the TARDIS herself is really as much as a victim of as Swarm assumes. Again, just they never even. Really, they genuinely never touch on this, do they? The TARDIS could have already been fighting back, counteracting the effects of the flux and the broken temple with her own defense mechanisms. We know no. We know for one that it's already been crying out for help with the repeated sound of the cloister bell. Again, Chibnall ripping off other people. It's an ominous sign, but the sign that the part of the TARDIS is at least functioning correctly. Well, how do you know? Maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe it's acting incorrectly. What else can the ship do to protect itself and the Doctor? Throw out the Doctor. Force regenerate this Doctor. That's what it should do. In Series 8, episode Flatline, one of the few good episodes of that series, and I love Capaldi, the Doctor activated siege mode, transforming the TARDIS into a small cube. In this mode, the TARDIS is shielded and impenetrable. Nothing get in and out with such a useful feature on board. We have to ask why was it only used once, because it thought that each episode is a standalone thing, basically. Perhaps it'll make a surprise return. Maybe, probably not. Or more likely, Chibnall will have another previously unknown TARDIS trick up his sleeve. Much more likely. Yeah, much more likely. Fine. We are 9 plot holes in. 1 has been resolved, right? 1 has been resolved. Number 10, what are Azor and Swarm up to? I don't know. They were fighting space or time. They were times champion fighting space or space champion. I don't know. I think I don't know. What does one up to? The very glam rock Swarm and Azor, who are good, right? They were good aspects of this season, but they didn't make any sense. Now accompanied by a masked figure of Passenger, completely own the stage whenever they enter. That is true. Passenger is like the thing that holds many people inside it, right? From what I understand. And I think they were using that to go into the next universe or something. I can't remember. It's like a throwback to completely whenever they enter. It's like a throwback to Doctor Who villains of the past. You mean they were good and engaging and exciting? Yeah, it really was a throwback. Where they actually relish a chance to be downright evil. That's one of the things I really haven't liked about Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. How all the enemies were just misunderstood aliens being persecuted by evil white men. So, who was the villain? The white man, of course. Without all the emotional back that slows everything down. But what are they trying to achieve? We never find out. We know that the Calvinist is grudgingly around to Speeter's bond with Dan, and despite having his methods being suspiciously like the Master, barring a big reveal, we ask, are we supposed to believe that, are we supposed to see him as one of the good guys after all? I don't think so, no. We know what the Sontaran's aim is. That never changes. But Azorm and Swarm have yet to declare their hand. I don't think they ever do. Just we don't like the Doctor. That's basically it. Well, we don't like you either. The Doctor either. Like we agree. It's kind of like that. I did a review of the last episode of Boba Fett, and he faces off this Clone Wars era villain, Cad Bane, who's everything you wanted Boba Fett to be, right? Everything you wanted Boba Fett, and Boba Fett wasn't. And in the end, he kind of like rips off Boba, he necks him to the ground and rips off his helmet, and you're like, yes, have this guy win. So I felt that way about Swarman and Zor most of the way through, right? The simplest explanation is to why they're returning to whatever scheme they called Swarm and the Swords we looked up in the first place. Something we know scares the Time Lords in particular. This begs the question, why is Swarm trying to save the TARDIS? I forgot he was trying to save the TARDIS. Again, this was just a throwaway thing, right? I forgot he was trying to do that. Is he planning to steal it? He's very dismissive of the Doctor's fondness for what he calls the ordinary and insignificant. A stance that is identical to Calvinistas. Okay, could the twist be that underneath the mask, that thanks to some time-traveling shenanigans, Passenger turns out to be Dan's Scooby-Doo? No. And the Doctor knows she's walking into a trap with Dan, but when did the trap start? No, all of that's way too clever, right? All of that is way too clever. None of that happened. Something else that didn't happen. Any of these questions were resolved. None of them. Absolutely none of them were resolved. Because Chris Chibnall can't write. I think that's really the bottom line. You know, Chris Chibnall can't write. So I guess we got to go through all of these ones. Expect to see more of these videos in the coming days and weeks. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.